Hi guys. Sorry about the delayed live. Unfortunately, I had very selfish reasons for pushing from noon to 1 o'clock. And this is the selfish reason. I've been hanging out for a haircut for the last 3 days, and we have a ticketing system here in Greenhive, and you grab your ticket and you wait your turn, and you can check on Facebook when it's due. And I missed my window yesterday because it was so much longer than I thought. So enough of that. Got the haircut, so happy. So today is part 3 and the final part on sleep. We've done sleep the last 2 weeks in a row. Because it's such a big topic, I wanted to give it the time that it deserved and hit the really big elements of sleep that are going to help you with your sleep. So today I've got 3 new things to talk about. So we've talked a lot about sleep. We've gone into a bit of detail about some of the tips and tricks, some of the different biotypes so that you know whether you're a lark or an owl, various different things. Today we're talking first off about social jet lag. So you've heard of jet lag. This is when you actually get on a plane. Social jet lag, you don't have to get on a plane. It's one of the things that occurs often between your sleeping habits during the week and your sleeping habits during the weekend. And that's kind of fairly normal because often at the weekend, one or both days, we get to sleep in. And when I say sleep in, that means we don't have to get up at the same time we do Monday to Friday. And what that means is that potentially if we stay in bed for a reasonably long time after when we'd normally get up during the week, we can be pushing that circadian rhythm out of kilter. Now we've talked about the circadian rhythm last couple of times, and how we can impact that circadian rhythm and some of the elements that impact the circadian rhythm. Obviously light is one, food and exercise are the 2 others, but there are others, but those are the big ones. And if that circadian rhythm goes out of kilter, like it would if you get on a plane and fly to somewhere in a different time zone, it takes a while for your body to catch up. It takes time for the natural rhythms of when you feel like eating and when you feel like sleeping to normalize to the environment that you're actually in, with the light, dark, potentially being out of whack, and your body sort of going, what's going on? So the thing with social jet lag is that we are in control of it. You know, we're not getting on a plane. We do have the ability to maintain a circadian rhythm 7 days a week. And so social jet lag occurs when we don't do it 7 days a week. So if you normally wake up at 6, let's say it's 6, normally wake up at 6 during the week, off you go to work or do whatever you do, and you start getting up at 7 or even 7:30 or even 8 at the weekend, what you're doing is you're asking your circadian rhythm to adjust to an hour later or an hour and a half or 2 hours later if you're getting up at 8 and you normally get up at 6. And so it's like flying to Sydney. Sydney's 2 hours away in the time zone. Sydney's more than 2 hours away, it's 3 hours away. But there's time zone wise, it's 2 hours behind us. And so what that does is it says to your body, oh, okay, I'm not now at this time, I'm at this time, but you're still in the same time zone. So you're gonna have a little bit of catch up to play when you get back to your normal routine, your normal circadian rhythm come Monday morning. So that means that you may be paying for that social jet lag on Monday, on Tuesday, possibly even into Wednesday, Thursday, however long it takes for your body to feel back to normal rhythm. So this can be a reason why tiredness is there at the beginning of the week. You kind of have the Monday blues, feel a bit groggy, you may have had a few drinks over the weekend, that's fine, but social jet lag will be probably one of the biggest elements that's making you feel that tired as you go into the new week. So this is something to play with, this is something to experiment with and have a go at seeing if you can maintain the same wake time and sleep time at the weekend. And it feels like I'm being a bit of a killjoy, but I actually think that you're going to have more energy if you try and keep the same consistent times at the weekend that you do in the week. And actually, if you do that, you may have more time on your hands and actually be able to be more productive, do more things. Don't feel like you're being cheated because you're waking up at the same time that you would do during the week. Think of it as an opportunity to get more done, maybe a little bit more exercise, maybe do some baking, maybe watch that TV show that you haven't had time for during the week in the evenings because you've been busy or whatever it may be. So get up at that normal time, find something to reward yourself for getting up at the normal time, celebrate that extra time and that productivity or that relaxation that you're getting by getting up at the same time, and see what your energy levels are like in the new week, come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. How does that make you feel? Because I suspect you will actually have more energy than less. So that would be my first tip. Second tip, we're going to get a bit sciencey with this. I apologize now. So before I talk about the glymphatic system, I'm going to talk about the lymphatic system, because it's probably more familiar to most of us in terms of that term, that name. The lymphatic system is our body's sewerage system, our drainage system. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So the lymphatic system requires movement to clear the liquid and the fluid that's in its system so that we get rid of the waste products in our body. So the worst circulation is often in our feet because it's the furthest away, but we do move our legs. So if we move our legs, and when I say furthest away, I mean from the heart, which is responsible for pumping it to where it needs to go, because it's absorbed into the blood system. The blood system then filters it through kidneys, liver, and so on, and then we wee it out, or it goes out when we sit on the toilet. So that's how our body gets rid of waste. It's really, really important to get rid of waste, because if it builds up and it's not cleared, that's when we get inflamed, that's when we get sick, and that's when we have complications that aren't great for our health. And those can come in all different shapes and sizes. But the lymphatic system is its drainage system, our body's drainage system, mostly assisted through movement. So keep moving in lots of different directions, not just forwards and backwards, and that will help use that or optimize the lymphatic system. Now, I wanted to talk about the glymphatic system. If you go onto Google and type glymphatic system or just glymphatic, you'll get some really weird and wonderful, interesting diagrams of the brain and the head and pipes or tubes that come from the body up into the brain. So having laid the foundations of what the lymphatic system are for you, the glymphatic system is essentially our brain's version of the lymphatic system in simple terms. What it does is it clears the metabolic waste from our brains and our heads, drains it, excretes it through the usual processes in our body, and we can start the next day with a nice clear head. Now, if we're not sleeping right, if we're sleeping broken sleep or short sleep, that glymphatic system doesn't get enough opportunity to clear all of the metabolic waste. Our brains consume 20% of the energy our entire bodies consume. So a fifth of everything that we do in terms of energy is up here. It's very energy hungry. And what that means is that there's going to be metabolic waste as a result of that energy hunger, the processes that go on inside our heads, our brains, can live and do what we need to do. So think about, life always creates rubbish. We've been in lockdown for a long time now. The rubbish bins have been pretty full when people have been staying at home. The recycling bins are overflowing. Think about that. Our heads are just the same. So we're busy in our heads, lots and lots of activities going on. That means there's going to be some waste and some rubbish that needs to be cleared out. So when we sleep, the glymphatic system does its job of clearing out that waste, getting rid of the metabolic rubbish, the byproducts of being alive, and out it goes. Now, unfortunately, people who aren't sleeping very well mean that this glymphatic system is not optimized. It's not doing its job properly. And there have been links to mental health, there have been links to Alzheimer's, all sorts of mental disorders because, or as a result of, or linked to, associated with this glymphatic system. So it's not just about physical repair, it's about mental repair. So we want to set our bodies up so that we get that clarity the next day by getting decent sleep the night before. And a big part of that is that glymphatic system. Last one is stimulants. So we all love a drink. We all love a cup of coffee. I say all, that isn't necessarily the case. Some people don't like coffee. They find it too much or they don't like the taste. Unfortunately, I'm one who likes both, and I have to be careful how I balance those things out. Now, coffee, of course, is a stimulant, and the way it works is it binds to the same receptors as our adenosine, which is the chemical in our body that builds up during the day from when we are awake. And as that builds, that increases our sleepiness. So by the time we get to the end of the day, that adenosine has built up so much that we're falling asleep. It kind of increases or helps create that sleepiness, one of the ways in which that occurs. Now, if we throw caffeine into the mix, that adenosine doesn't keep climbing because it drops into the same receptors that adenosine drops into. I've got some weird finger things going on here. So a coffee or some stimulants that have caffeine in it will slow down that adenosine growth through the day. So it means that you'll be more energetic, more productive. That's great. Just think about making sure, if you can, that your stimulants come before noon. Try and get them in before noon if you are a coffee drinker or an energy drinker, which I don't recommend because there's so much crap in those things. Sugar and taurine and all sorts of stuff. But if you are into that, the best way to manage it is to try and have a cutoff, because caffeine has a half-life. So that means that half of the amount of caffeine that you consumed is still in your system 6 hours later. So if you drink a cup of coffee at noon, you will have the equivalent of half a cup, and the caffeine that goes with it, still in your system. So if you drank it at 3, it would still be half of that would be there at 9 p.m. And at 9, we're probably thinking about going to bed. So you wouldn't get into bed at 9 and drink half a cup of coffee and expect to drop off. Some people might, but the majority wouldn't. So use those stimulants wisely. Use them for performance. If you know you've got a presentation or you've got a big job coming up or you've got a report to write, time your caffeine intake with those activities, because it's going to spur you on. It's going to give you the ability to do a better job because it makes you more alert. So enjoy it, but also try and time it with other things in your day that are going to help it. So that's stimulants. Alcohol is the other thing, and we kind of bounce between alcohol in the evening to wind down, and then we do the caffeine thing in the morning to bounce back up again. Alcohol disrupts sleep, sadly. So unfortunately, it doesn't help you sleep. It may make you drop off, but unfortunately, that isn't going to be giving you quality sleep. What alcohol does, it fragments your sleep. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the different sleep stages. So you've got your REM and your NREM. It prevents a lot of that REM sleep actually occurring. So that's the rapid eye movement where your body is disconnected from your head. There's no muscle activity going on. And you're getting all of that repair that's going on as a result of REM. You won't get a lot of REM if you've had drinks. So think about measuring and managing your alcohol intake for good night's sleep. So if you've got something big coming up the next day, you probably want to stay off the booze the night before so that you can have a better night's sleep, be fresher and ready to go the next day. It's a stimulant, it is a thing to wind down with, but most of all, it will disrupt your sleep. A couple of other elements that are useful for sleep is darkness. When you're in bed and when you're ready to sleep, you need that pitch black. Ideally, blackout blinds are the way to go. So you've got your normal material on the front, and behind that you can have another material that actually blacks out the light. So it's so thick that the light can't get through, and that gets a nice black seal around your window frames, which means that you're less likely to be disturbed because you've got that pitch black. You should be able to hold your hand up in front of your face and not be able to see it, and that's a good test to see whether it's dark enough in the room. Temperature is another element which we kind of overlook sometimes. We want our rooms where we're sleeping to be between about 17 and 19 degrees C, and ideally slightly cooler rather than warmer. You know, during summer you have more disrupted sleep than you do during winter, and that's just because our body temperatures are just sitting a little bit too high. And a way of actually setting yourself up for a good sleep is to have a hot shower or a hot bath. And that sounds the opposite, but what you're doing is you're bringing the blood to the surface. As soon as it comes to the surface, it's going to cool down. As soon as you jump into bed, it's going to cool you down. And once you're in bed, the temperature of your blood going back into the core will be that much cooler. And so you're setting your body up for a slightly better sleep. So use, spa, bath, shower, whatever it would be. Nice cleanse, you feel nice and clean, but also you're helping to drop your body temperature to set yourself up for a better night's sleep. And some people like to sleep with the window open, so you're getting that gentle breeze or gentle stream of fresh air through. As long as that's not disturbing your sleep, fresh air is another good element to add into your bedroom for a good night's sleep. So, I don't want to go any more. That's quite a lot to cover. Social jet lag, glymphatic system, and stimulants. Have a look at those, see where they fit in your life, see if you can get that social jet lag experiment going on in your routine. Just play with it for a week or two and just see what it does for you. because if it does make a difference, you might want to stick with it. If you do have any questions, drop those in the comments below. It's been great talking to you again. Next week, I'm preparing to do something on menopause, so that's been requested. You're probably thinking, what's a middle-aged white guy doing talking about menopause? Well, I've done some studies. So, I've been interested in health across the board. So it doesn't just have to be men's health. It does have to be other things as well, because that makes it more interesting and it helps me help my clients. So we're going to be touching on a few elements of how to manage menopause, what it is, what perimenopause is, timing, things that you can do to manage the hormone changes that are going on in your body, because that's essentially what's happening. It's a time of change, and so it's understanding what's going on and what you can do to mitigate some of the symptoms. Some people don't have any, some people have lots. So hopefully I can bring some gems next week and help you out with that. And following after that, I'll take your requests and pick a different topic as well. So thanks for your time, speak soon, and take care.